Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your hosts Edward Mcqueen and April Garner.
Good evening to everyone. This is going to be a great day for us and for all the information that you all are going to be hearing about today. I'm your host, Ed Mcqueen of the World Community Magazine, coming live to you on Facebook and YouTube and www.wcmagazine.net. Good evening to all of our viewers and listeners. We it's, it's we consider all of our broadcasts special, but this is one where we've been trying to get a hold of for a while, and you know that you'll be happy to just to see the achievements that's being made in our neighborhoods, in our schools, and some of our transformational schools, which is what the title was for our promotion that was sent out. So I want to begin by just letting you know that today's guest is one person that has gotten a lot of accolades over NBC, ABC, and all along, especially on the East Coast, regarding his achievements at North Charleston High School. And let me begin with, before I get into our discussion, let me begin with just showing you a little intro as to what he's about, okay? So let's go with what do you say? Let's do this. Okay. Yes. Okay. All right. You may have been watching my face on there at the same time, but look, we are back live now, and I just wanted to give you a little intro of who our guest is, and he is none other than that principal who got that award from McDonald's, and we now have our co-host live, Sister April Garner, and April, you know about Mr. Darby here very, very well, and everybody should know by now. But we're glad and awfully glad that he could come on to the Whittemore Community, the World Community Magazine live here. So, welcome to the program, Mr. Darby.
Thank you, sir. Thank
and,
you.
Good, good. What are you going to do with all that money?
Oh my. Students first, sir. That's where the money's going, sir. Students first. Secondarily, is to their families, and another phase that of teacher morale, and also we may assist with kids who are in need of some athletic items and whatnot. But first and foremost, we are talking needs of the students' day-to-day needs, scholarships, and then for those parents who somehow can't make ends meet from month to month, and also, as I stated before, teacher morale.
Wow, that's fantastic. There's so much we can talk about and how you're transforming North Charleston High School itself. And my understanding that you have a mission there. You have a 2 or 3 year mission that you're trying to accomplish. You want to share that with us?
Well, yes, sir. We have 3 major initiatives at North Charleston High School. We are asking the school board, local school board, as well as that of the State Department, to give us what we call seat time waiver. What this waiver would do, for instance, we have some students who are very astute. And for those students who could complete a block course within 45 days as opposed to 90 days, if they were successful on the EOC within 45 days, take that standardized test and pass it, they can go toward another course. They simply would not have to be there for another 45 days when they have met all the standards and objectives. On the other end of their seat time, if a student is about 3 or 4 points away from passing the course, the seat time would be extended for 2 or 3 weeks, or however long it takes for the student to pass the course or to be successful. Because for a student to come 3 or 4 points short of a course and fails the course and now has to take the entire course over again, we don't think that's in the best interest of the student. So we would like to have our seat time waived. Another situation that we are dealing with is what we call teacher certification. As an example, I don't have and I can't find a drama teacher who has teacher certification. However, we are about 8 miles away from the Dock Street Theater, where they have professional actors, people who major in drama, yet they do not have teacher certificates. So if we can have that waived, this person who teaches drama at the Dock Street Theater would be able to teach drama and theater at North Charleston High School. That's just one example. Another waiver which we are asking for is that of the year flexibility. That is, if we have students who are desirous to start school early, 2-3 weeks or a month early, so they can do their work, that would do fine. That child will be able to enter school. On the other end of that, if a child needs 3 to 4 weeks beyond the regular school, they will be able to do that as well. Now, the next 2 initiatives, they are not waivers, but we are asking for a parent center, whereby we have a full-time parent center. So when parents do come, they will not find anybody who's that busy that their concerns will not be adhered to. This center will assist with their FAFSA, help them with resumes. There's a food pantry in this parent center, financial literacy, technological literacy. And the other source that we are asking for, or I should say resource, we are asking for a modular on campus, whereby Mr. Trevor Strotterman, my executive director, he has made the statistical conjecture that if we can get this modular on campus, we can save up to 95% of our suspension. So in terms of suspending students home or suspending students toward the streets, we'll have a modular on campus. And this module will not be for punishment, but we will have 2 social workers, a psychologist, a teacher, and an assistant principal. So that would be a win-win, and our suspension rate would go down dramatically in terms of suspension of our students.
Wow. For our audience, Principal Darby, we you are the how many schools are in your district, by the way? Just
In Charleston County as a whole, or within my district, sir? I mean, we are the only we're the only high school within my district per se, but we do have competing high schools such as, well, not just my district, but we have the School of the Arts, the Magnet School. One of our sister schools would be Stall High School, Burke High School, West Ashley High School. Those are schools surrounding us, sir.
Okay, so for the benefit of our viewers who came in who didn't see the first part, I just want to let you know that we are talking with Principal Henry Darby of North Charleston High School in North Charleston, South Carolina, and he is as achieved much of national news, and of course on our news now regarding his achievements and his ability to transform or attempting to transform North Charleston High School. And the focus was on the fact that Principal Darby works at Walmart at part-time in order to facilitate his desire for his students to achieve certain things, those who are below the poverty line or those that are in need money. Money that he makes at Walmart majority of it goes toward the students that are in need, okay, without asking the city or the state or the county for anything. So, and these efforts have been recognized on a national basis, and Walmart recently awarded him, was it $60,000 or
$50,000? Yes, sir.
$50,000 for him to continue with his work, and there you have it. So just for those who are tuning in a little tardy at late at the time, but we do want you to know that. And Principal Darby was well recognized nationally and deservedly so. Okay, so Principal Darby, you understand that now, do you have any plans of continuing at Walmart, or you've got so much accolades now that I know it's taking up a whole lot of your time? Is that interfering with Walmart?
Well, I have my executive director and my administrative team. They want me to give it up along with my booster club because they say that the objective was met. Those folks who were sending in money, they were sending dollars to assist our students, as well as my being able to leave Walmart, that I wouldn't have to work as hard. But I fell in love with Walmart. I really like the job. I met new friends and I love them dearly. I've yet to get the pressure from my two daughters. However, I do suffer a debility in terms of an accident that I was in years ago, dealing with my neck. And because I'm a stalker, I have to look up continuously, stalking shelves. And he has admonished me to quit. So there's an operation right around the corner. And based upon the results, I'm going to ask him again, would it be okay for me to continue my work after this next surgery? But if he were to say no, then I would have to give up Walmart, because I want to make a commitment of at least a year. I've been working there for about 7 months now. But my doctor, he basically is going to steer the way in terms of whether I'm going to maintain or if I have to leave the job.
Look, we're hoping and praying that you have a successful recovery, whatever the debilitation is, and because we need you in the community, man.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
We need you in the community. We can't let a diamond like you get out of the rough. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In the community. So understand here.
If you don't mind my saying this, I think that, and I'm not saying this to embellish, or not that I'm appreciative, but I think that, folk like yourself and others, you give me too much credit. Because I'm not doing this by myself, sir. I have a very supportive staff. My parents, they're getting more involved. Walmart has been gracious. The nation as a whole, with all the dollars, close to $300,000 for these students and their families and teacher morale. And I wish I could say that that's a Henry Darby thing, but it's beyond me, sir. It's a collectiveness. in terms of the community. So I can't take credit for that, Mr. McQueen. I've tried to done is simply just take on a job. I mean, and as I mentioned to you prior, I mean, that pales in comparison what other educators have done. I mean, when you look at a September Clark and so many of these other greats, sir, it's just a drop in the bucket in terms of work in a Walmart, sir.
Well, I'm sure your community appreciates you quite well. In addition to that, also read, and I think this was back in February, maybe, that the governor gave you the highest award. Was it the Palmetto?
Yes,
award?
sir. The Order of the Palmetto. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What do they call it?
The Order of the Palmetto.
Order of the Palmetto. Yeah.
Yes,
and
sir.
And we have just a clip of that here. Not a clip, but it just showing where you were receiving that. And yeah, this was back in February, I believe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
February. Okay.
Yes, sir. I never fathomed this, Mr. McQueen. Again, I tried to keep it esoteric as possible, but then it got out, and that was it, sir. I wasn't going to make any bones about it. I just wanted to go there and work my hours at Walmart and contribute the dollars to the school and help these kids pay their bills and their parents pay bills, and the word just got out, and it just went on, sir.
So obviously, they must have thought a whole lot of your efforts for you to get that award.
Yes, sir.
So I'll let the audience know that we in our last or in our February issue of the World Community Magazine, we had you on the front page.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very, very appreciative. Very appreciative of what you have done for the community, sir. Thank you, sir.
Well, we had the opportunity to interview you. Go down there to Charleston, and it's a nice school, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
And all of your we appreciate all of your cooperation that we've gotten from your assistant principal, Ms. Anderson,
Yes,
the
sir.
assistant principal, and Ms. Elizabeth Boyne. She's the parent advocate.
Oh, yes. Yes, sir.
Can you tell us a little bit about the parent advocate? I'm not aware of it. Maybe it's
Yes,
at all
sir.
schools, but
Yes, sir.
but her functions seem to be vitally important.
Oh, man, this lady, sir, if it were not for Ms. Boyne, sir, I don't know where I would be in terms of North Charleston High School, because we had worked together at Fort Dorchester High School. And even though she did not get the credit, she was responsible for Fort Dorchester in procuring a 91% graduation rate. I mean, that's almost unheard of. And when I was offered the job in North Charleston, I was not going to go with unless Ms. Boyne would go with me. And for the first year, when our graduation rate was 59.6. But when I turned it over to Ms. Boyne, I mean, then she went from 59.6 to 67.4 to 76.6. And last year was a little rough year because of COVID. And she's helping now. But what she does is that all those kids who would be truant and drop out of school, this lady got these kids in school, didn't drop out, to be successful in their lessons. Those parents who are in need in terms of rent, utility bills, places to stay, food, that's what she does. She assists so greatly of keeping these kids in school and keeping our records very much clean, that we won't be dinged for those students who drop out or truant, sir. She's just irreplaceable.
Sure, they appreciate you giving the accolades. Had they thought about it, we would have had some photos of Ms. Anderson and Ms. Boyne to really show our viewers who they are.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure they meant a lot to the school. Now tell us a little bit about your community support. You understand during your interview you said that you had about 70 volunteers.
Oh my, Mr. McQueen. The community, we were trying to become a community school. And when we have the first day of school, sir, we've got for 35 to 40 young men and women coming to school, sir, just to, introduce themselves to our kids day one, to welcome them back to school. We have a number of volunteers who would come in to substitute, help us walk the hallways, to assist our secretaries. We have a group of men called Combined Intervention. They are there 5 days a week, and it's just incredible. We have businessmen, we have lawyers, we have town administrators. We have a whole gamut of people who are trying to help North Charleston. We have Boeing, the Vulcan Rubber Company. Another one would be Mercedes-Benz vans, and just individual entrepreneurs offering internships, lawyers. I hadn't seen this in quite a while, sir, in terms of community support.
Throughout my interview with you, I grasped that you were quite confident about reaching your goals, and it's obvious because you seem to spell out the amount of resources that you have to help you reach those goals, and you still think your goals can be reached in an achievable way.
Well, sometimes it's like dreaming the impossible dream or beating the unbeatable four, because our ultimate mission at North Charleston High School is to graduate 100% of our students. That's a very difficult task, but it can be done. When we first went to North Charleston High School, we were listed as unsatisfactory. And the first year thereafter, we moved 1 point up from unsatisfactory to needs improvement. And I think if COVID had not hit us, we would have gone into the average or good category, and the category above that is excellent. So it's just another year or two that we're going to reach good or excellent, but we are on the move. But in the final analysis, I just regret that too often throughout the nation, schools and students are judged based upon their standardized test scores. And students are they're worth more than just test scores. But that's what taxpayers and the public school supporters want. They want to see that students achieve on these standardized tests. But in the final analysis, Mr. McQueen, the greatness of a school is that it produces productive citizens. And there could be no test measure in terms of our productive citizens, which teaches you how to work, how to take care of your family. If you are going to, believe in the political process, learn to vote. That's productive citizenry, sir. And this is what North Charleston is all about. So we're going to do the test scores as well. Our test scores are going to go up, but in the final analysis, our purpose is to produce outstanding and productive citizens.
So, let's see what my co-host has to say about that. She's been writing some things down, probably some notes or whatever. But we have Principal Darby, our co-host.
Excuse me if my voice is gone. I've been talking all day, and
yeah, I can imagine.
But first of all, Principal Darby, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here. Of course, I learned of you from the actual magazine. I had not heard your story, and it's very interesting. You write the notoriety or the recognition you've received because of it. And I think that, the only questions that I have and what I'm eager to know is how is the school distributing the funds that were awarded to the school? Like, how do they determine the need and how do they distribute the funds? Because, it could very well be a good model for other schools if they have students who are exhibiting the same kinds of needs and the families are exhibiting the same kinds of needs to, do some type of outreach that's maybe not quite like what you have achieved, but, just to identify the needs and be able to come up with some resources for these families. So what is the game plan? How are they doing that?
Well, firstly, I didn't want any type of impropriety whatsoever, particularly with my name, because that's all I have my name. So the dollars that which were to come to me, we had created year before last a booster club. So those dollars which come to the school It goes to the booster club, where I do not bother the money at all. My hands are not in it. And that's one side of the spectrum. And on the other side of the spectrum, we have on staff administrative team, which consists of teacher, students, parents. In another category, these two teams work together in terms of assuring that those who need dollars would get their fair share. Now, say for instance, one of the criteria for a student to procure the scholarship, he or she has to do 30 hours of community work, and it could be cumulative from freshman to senior. They have to write an essay along with that, and of course, they have to go to an accredited college. In terms of a bill, it is very esoteric. I don't necessarily know who the families are, but they have to show a bill prior to procuring these dollars. Money would go directly to them. In a couple of occasions, we got burned on that, so we decided to pay the business or those who own the apartments as opposed to giving cash. And the team came up with the fact that it's a one-time situation with the rent, because rent now, on average, for the past 4 or 5 we paid, it was like over $900. Now, with that in mind, one of our contributors, he made a very good suggestion that if we're going to do this, why not have that person or family take a financial literacy course anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to try to show them some means of getting out this so that they would not have to come back to procure more dollars. In addition to that, we are asking those persons who we have to pay utility bills, rent, lease, or mortgage to please come back and volunteer to walk the hallways, or even to the point, just attend 2 PTA meetings, which would help us out. So those are some of the basic guidelines that the dollars that the folks sent, that they would not be taken advantage of, and neither will the school. So there's checks and balances in terms of the dollars. But I just want to tell the audience, yes, the dollars are, like sent to Henry Darby, but I have nothing to do with the money whatsoever, other than just being on the board to say, well, this is my advice here and there, and the team as a whole makes the decision.
It's fantastic. So what do you suggest? How would you like for that money to be spent in some ways? I mean, even though you're not having a part of it, but how would you like for it to be spent?
A great number of that, sir, goes towards scholarships, sir.
Yeah.
Like right now, one of our donors committed 10 $5,000 scholarship, which is a part of that $300,000. So again, it goes toward scholarship and the day-to-day needs. We also presently, since my tenure, and we're going to, as a starting point, we presently have kids in college now. And if if you are in poverty in high school, just because you get to college, that doesn't mean you can be out of poverty. So these kids need as well. And also, there are now stringent lines. We can no longer send kids cash money as we did in the past. We'll have to give something toward their bills. So it's just the idea of the scholarship, helping them with their bills, and also helping the students' families pay their rent, mortgages, and utility bills, and purchasing food. Food is always a need. I'm not saying that they are in just deep, deep metaphysical poverty. I don't want to give the appearance that all of my students are in poverty, because all of them not. But when you have 100% of your students Title I in terms of free lunch, there's not even reduced lunch, sir. Everybody, all students get free lunch at North Charleston High School. We're talking 100%. But there are some parents who are not to the point below the poverty line, sir.
Wow. So since the COVID has come online, I know you just mentioned it sparingly, but what are some of the adjustments that you all have to make in terms of teacher presence and your students coming? I know you mentioned one time that some students are spending 5 days a week, and some were 3 days a week, stuff like that. In our interview I had you about 2 months ago. Has that changed?
No, sir. Our superintendent, Dr. Postlethwaite, as long as with one of her subordinates, Mr. Jeff Barori, they have provided every reasonable resource for the safety of our students and our teachers, sir. I mean, every class, nearly every desk, I mean, not nearly, but every desk where there was a child, there was plexiglass. The mask is enforced. The 6 feet as best as possible, even during the exchanging of the hallways, sir, with our students there. It's like herding cats, but we do promote safety, sir. I don't think that the district could do any more in terms of providing a safe and orderly means during COVID-19, because as you well know, this is a very sick and deadly disease. One of the things, we also, the superintendent and the school board and Mr. Barori, they made sure, sir, that every child has a laptop. Every child makes sure that they have internet at the home. I mean, every child. I mean, that's some expenses, but when we, you know, sometimes our words, our action have to match our words. And they were serious about kids getting education. There's not a child within Charleston County School District which needed a laptop and could not get one, or a hotspot, or internet, sir. But one of the things I really resent about COVID-19, I'm a hugger, and my students know that I'm a hugger. My parents know that I'm a hugger, and I just can't hug them like I used to. I mean, that bothers me. Cause I said, bring that big head, just give me a nice hug, you know. So I really miss that relational piece with my students and with my teachers and with my parents, because that's just the type of guy they know their principles are. I'm just one of the type of guy. Now, yes, I'm fair and firm, but at the same time, you know, I got that soft touch. Now I yell at them and this and that, but they know, man, that's just Mr. Darby going off, man. You know he love us, man. So it's one of those type of things that I really miss, sir.
You already know what they're saying, huh?
Well, I know what they're saying, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
I didn't get a chance to showcase yet, but I also took some photos of an art demonstration or a project demonstration that was aligned in the hallway. I forgot what the name of it was, but your assistant principal Anderson was going to fill me in on it. But I took a number of photos. Can you talk about that? Because I'm asking you about that because there was so much artistry there that was done.
Yes, sir.
And I was impressed.
Yes, sir.
Could you just tell us a little bit about that? Maybe elaborate on some of the skills of your students there. I'm sure you.
Yes, sir. That's Miss McConnell's class. She's our art teacher. And believe it or not, Mr. Mcqueen, the majority of those paintings, sir, they were done in terms of our exceptional children population, sir. Believe it or not, they are talented. And I mean, over 1/3 of her class is basically special needs kids. And for what they produce in terms of their art, sir, is just magnificent. And when you walk down the hall, sir, you can see, I mean, the beauty, the seriousness of it. You can actually see the melody in these paintings, sir. It's just a phenomenal job that she has done along with our students, sir.
Yeah, maybe we'll get the opportunity to showcase them in our one of our issues of the magazine coming up. May even be in the next issue.
Oh, yes, sir. That would be marvelous, sir. And somebody like Miss Anderson grew up in the area where I grew up, a place called Liberty Hill, still poverty stricken, and this is still where I live. But she had to move, you know, because she's married and you have to go where your husband goes. But she is a home product of a place called Liberty Hill. And when we were growing up, you know, it's one of those talk that, yo, what's good going to come from Liberty Hill? What's good? And she has done such an amazing job with my freshman academy. I mean, when our kids come to us, and not to disparage the middle schools or the elementary school, because it always goes back to the family unit. When our kids come to us reading between a 2nd, 4th, and 6th grade reading level, and as the freshman principal, sir, she has to get these test scores up, and she's doing a wonderful job to have these kids transition from middle school to high school. Magnificent work that she is doing.
Oh, you mentioned Liberty Hill. That's part of North Charleston. Is that one of the?
Yes, sir. It is the oldest African-American community in North Charleston, which we used to call the North area, and was founded by 4 freedmen from Georgetown, May 10th of 1871.
Seem to be up on your Black history.
Oh man, I love my community, sir. I know every crook and cranny, know every street name, knowing the year they were paved. I love my community, and pardon the grammar, sir. I ain't going no place. I could be young for a while.
And you get into the goal, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. that's the second language, sir.
We're gonna have to see what Miss Margie McCarthy gonna say about that. You don't know her yet, but she's into
okay.
She's from Charleston. She's from Charleston.
Yes, sir. All right, sir.
So let's go back to some of these challenges. It was interesting when I was interviewing you. I did it on it was video, by the way, but you said that students were sleeping under the bridge, under bridges, stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
Is that as a result of you're going around in neighborhoods seeking out and seeing what your students are doing, or it just happens, or you came up on it, or just someone tell you about it?
Well, that was separate, sir. The way I found out about poverty, because I'm one of those old time principals. I knock on doors, whether it's Saturday or Sunday, and you can see some of the conditions when you go there. Particularly when the parent stands in the door and they refuse to let you in, or to actually come in, or the whole house is dark and it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, or things along that nature. Or when you go to someone's house in the afternoon, there's not curtains, there's a mattress on the floor. But I found out about the students at the bridge, and it still bothers me to a certain degree, because I was getting one of these kids because they were late. And they were late, and I'm saying, y'all know I ain't going for that. I run a tight ship, and y'all can get yourself here on time. And someone said, Mr. Darby, they're sleeping under a bridge. Oh, no. You ain't, where y'all staying? Oh, Mr. Darby, that's not happening here. And we got their housing, we got their clothing, and we got their food and all that kind of stuff. So that, my finding out about their living under a bridge was my concern about them being tired of the school, sir. And that really floored me. And it still bothers me today, when I sometimes think about that, because, this is America. And I don't always look at other people for doing for poor people. There comes a time when we have to do for ourselves. We can't rely always on Booker T, on Du Bois' talented 10th, because everybody else is the untalented 90th. And I'm not going to wait on rich people. And I'm not going to wait on rich Black people. I'm not going to wait on middle-class people to help poor kids. And if I had to work at 2 Walmarts, I would do that as well. And not being arrogant, but I'm not going to wait on others to help my students, sir. No. I didn't grow up like that, because when I needed help, I didn't have to beg for help. There were people in the community who actually helped me without my asking. And now it's my shift, and it's time for me to help those who need help. And hopefully, when they come of age, they too will be able to do the same thing, sir.
Absolutely. It's the village concept we need.
Say it again, sir.
It's the village concept.
Oh, yes, sir. Oh, Mr. Mcqueen. No truer words, sir. No truer words, because where I grew up, my neighbors, if Mr. if I backtalk Miss Fanny me or Mr. Elijah, they can tan me. And mommy ain't saying that. Grandma, that's just it. You're not going to back talk or anything of that nature, because they helped raise me. And when my parents and, everybody was deceased, I had to deal with my family, my community, my church, Morris College. That's the true village. But somehow we've gotten away. And there's a statement by Dr. King, which I'll never forget, never, ever forget. And is one of his least quoted texts. He said that he was talking about the Black middle class, and he states that the Black middle class have left the stench of the backwaters of the Black community and now sailing down the fresh waters of mainstream America, forgetting about their drowning brothers and sisters. And to a certain degree, sir, that is very true. For those during my generation, had they stayed here on Liberty Hill, they got the education, and rightfully so. You're supposed to better yourself, of course, but you can also better yourself at home. And there's one of our faults here in Liberty Hill and North Charleston, that the most educated among us, they have left the area to go elsewhere.
Okay, Principal Darby, what we're going to do now is take a commercial break. But when we come back, I still want to get back to you about how your students, the perception of your students since thing that you started your transformation. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll be right back.
Having problems with your vehicle? For quick, prompt, and courteous service, call Snag and Drag Towing. Gregory Graham will make sure that you're taken care of right away. 843-997-0751. That's Snag and Drag Towing Service at 843-997-0751. If you're looking for flowers for any occasion, the Daisy Fair Flowers is here to help you. They offer an enormous selection of flowers, gift baskets, and live plants for delivery in Conway, South Carolina. Serving Conway since 1980, the Daisy Fair Flowers, 1400 4th Avenue in Conway, or call 843-248-7222. You may also visit the web at thedaisyfairflowers.com. Looking for a full-service funeral home with a broad array of services? Look no further than McKeever Funeral Home at 1408 Race Path Avenue in Conway, South Carolina. They offer a wide variety of services, including traditional funerals, memorial services, and graveside ceremonies. You can reach them anytime, day or night, at 843-248-2706. That's 843-248-2706. McKeever Funeral Home in Conway, South Carolina. George L. Williams Jr. is CEO and licensed funeral director. Support the party that supports you. Vote for your own interests and those of your community. The choice is clear. Horry County Democratic Party. Take a stand. Register to vote 2020. This advertisement is paid for by the Horry County Democratic Party. For all of your insurance needs, home, auto, and life, see how it feels to be on a #1 team with Tony McAfee of State Farm Insurance. Call Tony at 843-903-7800 or visit him at 3888 Renee Drive in Myrtle Beach. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Looking to start a new career? Train to work in Myrtle Beach. Classes starting soon. Free to eligible participants. Short-term, 3 weeks or less in hospitality, culinary, electrical, plumbing, and more at Horry Georgetown Technical College. There's more. Continuing education at 843-477-2020. Horry Georgetown Technical College, where there's more. Enjoy soul food the way your mama made it. You'll be surrounded by some of the best food in Horry County and affordable prices. Blue plate specials, senior plates, and more. Daily specials at Big Mike's Soul Food. Big Mike's Soul Food is located at 504 16th Avenue in Myrtle Beach. You can call your order in at 843-712-2048 or visit BigMikeSoulFood.net to find out about the latest specials. Big Mike's Soul Food the way your mama made it. Treating conditions from. Do you need to complete your diploma or get your GED? Stop putting your future on hold. Contact the Horry County Adult Education Centers today. With 2 offices in Conway and Myrtle Beach, you'll be well on your way to a new career. The Conway Education Center is at 843-488-6200, or the Myrtle Beach Family Learning Center is at 843-839-5400. You can also visit the website at hcae.horrycountyschools.net. Heating unit not working? Need answers right away? Call Quick Services Heating and Air Conditioning for comfort in a hurry. Quick Services Heating and Air LLC is the right choice for you. Call Kenya and Nina Keith at 843-488-1492. Residential or commercial financing available. You can also visit their website at www.quickserviceshvac.com. That's KWIK serviceshvac.com. Quick Services Heating and Air LLC, the right choice for you. Serving Horry County for over 79 years, Palmetto Chevrolet in downtown Conway has just what you need to find new roads. Come through and browse, make your selection, and find new roads right away. Palmetto Chevrolet, 1122 4th Avenue, downtown Conway. You can also visit palmettochevrolet.com or call the service center at 843-248-4283. Palmetto Chevrolet, find new roads. Matthew and Beatrice Rue left a rich legacy of funeral home services in the capable hands of Atu and Tammy Williams. Ocean View Funeral Homes and Cremation Services, with 2 chapels serving the Horry County area. They offer full-service funeral and cremation services with no hidden fees. Call for details. The Conway Chapel is 843-248-5376. The Myrtle Beach Chapel is 843-916-8929. They offer affordable, professional, and caring full-service packages. Ocean View Funeral Homes and Cremation Services.
Okay, so we're back with Principal Henry W. of North Charleston High School in North Charleston, South Carolina, and talking about the many achievements that has been nationally broadcasted and accolades have been given respecting that. And we're certainly glad to have him here. As we were breaking for the commercials, Mr. Darby, we talked about, I said we were going to talk about your students and their perception. I remember during the interview, you said that at one time the students could just wear their hoodies and earplugs in their ears. Then you backed it up and said those days are gone. I certainly understand.
Yes, sir.
And you also said that my students do not curse on campus or at teachers. So to say that, and I didn't get back to ask you about that. Is that permissible, to curse at teachers?
Well, let me say this, please, sir. Prior to my saying that, if you would let me go back to rich people, particularly African Americans. When I mention rich, I wouldn't talk about those folks who make $300,000, $400,000, and $500,000 a year, because they too may be a check away from not paying bills. But we got so many within the community who make $3, $4, and $5 million and 10 up to 10. Those are the folks that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about those grassroots folks, because for those who come from poverty making $400,000 or $500,000, that's fine. But I'm talking those guys who are mega rich, who could really afford to help and don't. So please, sir, let me offer that apology, sir. But no, sir, the perception of North Charleston High Schools that they were just hoodlums and thugs and whatnot, and to the point the perception was so pejorative that I really didn't want to go to North Charleston High School. I had heard so many terrible things about the school, and not that everything in a rumor is a falsehood. Sometimes there is some truth, sir. But to make any serious change and gains at North Charleston High School, sir, we basically had to change the culture of the school. And I wasn't going to worry about the other parts or the other schools. Our kids were forced to wear uniforms. And I looked around and I saw the other schools, well-to-do flagship schools. Those kids weren't forced to wear uniforms. So I said, I'm not going to force my kids to wear uniforms as if they're going to be looked at differently. Another thing is the hoodies and the earplugs. They were just taking away too much attention from the academics. So I just told the parents and to the kids, and I did have some buy-in from the parents and students that we're no longer going to wear hoods in this building, or we're no longer going to wear earbuds. You can do your earbuds when you go outside to lunch. But as a statistical conjecture, sir, 95% of my kids, they abide by the rules. There are some kids who maintain their hood and want to do the earplug, but we don't punish kids just for the sake of punishing them, but they have to follow the rules. So if and when you do return to North Charleston High School, you'll see that the vast majority of my kids in the hallways, they are not wearing their hoodies, and they are not wearing earplugs. As a matter of fact, I had banned the hoodies, but then my teachers got a soft spot was saying, Mr. Darby, it's winter time and the kids need a hoodie. So I backed off some to say that they could have the hoodies at school because of my teachers. But in terms of cursing teachers, sir, those days are long gone. I mean, they were cursing teachers as if it were water. And I'm saying that's not happening here. And the rule of thumb at the time was the Office of Civil Rights and the Black activists were saying that they were simply suspending too many black kids, and perhaps rightfully so. But I'm not going to let a child curse an adult without severe punitive action. So all kids know, if you curse an adult in my building, teacher, janitorial staff, cafeteria staff, you're going home for 3 days. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. You're going home for 3 days, and you have to bring back a parent or grandparent. So as a result, the cursing, like just like, because I'm not playing, I'm old fashioned, sir. How dare you, a child, going to curse an adult? No, sir. Not at North Charleston High School. They can do that at another school, but not North Charleston, sir.
Do you think it's happening at other schools in Charleston, in North Charleston?
Well, sir, I do get some calls. Matter of fact, I got a call from a neighboring district. That she was called the B word by a student, and the kid was back in the class with another 15 minutes. And I said, well, ma'am, that'll never happen in North Charleston High School. He or she is going home. And mom, I mean, sometimes, no, not to cast aspersions, but sometimes our parents, sir, Mr. Mcqueen and Ms. Garner, sometimes I have to shake my head and say, whoa, now I understand. But no, sir, I don't let my parents speak to my teachers in any kind of way. And at the same time, my teachers are going to respect my parents. This is a two-way thing. And just because you're an educator, you're not going to talk down to my parents who may not be as educated as you are. So there's mutual respect, sir. And the great thing about that, we have students coming to us, oh man, Mr. Darby, we're so happy, we're so glad. You know, that one kid said, you know, we want to be punished when we do things wrong. And this is a child saying this. So the other schools, sir, to a great degree, sad to say that, yeah, that goes on, sir, but not at North Charleston High School. The culture is changing.
You know, you mentioned Gullah Geechee earlier. There's someone who sent a comment who sounds just like you, okay, with her name, Miss Marjorie McIver. She,
oh my goodness, yes, I know Miss Blondel Gas, and we worked together at Berg High School. Oh my goodness. Yes, well, indeed. No, quite well.
Well, I guess a lot of people
don't y'all give me speaking Gullah now, because my grandma would say, boy, hush that window, son. Hush that window. Hey, gal, where you going with that fork-tail, gal? Where that fork-tail going, child? You know, don't get me started on my Gullah, sir.
In further of that, she also mentioned that the fact that you spoke at Morris College the other day, and Reverend P was speaking about.
Oh, yes, sir. Ms. Mcqueen, I am indebted truly to Morris College. And what I'm about to say, sir, I am not embellishing because of my SAT scores, sir. I took it once. My SAT scores were so low, so very low, sir. And I took it again, and I made less the second time. And my mother, who just thought there was prejudice because that was the first year of integrating Berkeley High School, she says, send the scores anyhow. The Citadel denied me, College of Charleston, Baptist College, which is now Charleston Southern, Presbyterian College, Furman, all of them denied me. Not only that, sir, South Carolina State denied me, Claflin, Allen, Benedict, Voorhees, all those schools denied me. When I went to Morris and I took the test, I was reading on an 8th grade level. Morris College gave me a chance. And Mr. Mcqueen, even though I was not successful on a scholastic aptitude test, because of Morris College, sir, I made an A on the National Teachers Examination, and that's why I'm in education today, because that single black college, Morris College, gave this poor black boy I owe Morris College. Matter of fact, Morris College is my will, sir. And I do yearly.
I guess we're having some technical difficulties with you. Principal Darby, I guess we have some technical difficulties. But anyway, it's if we can't go any further on that, approaching that time anyway. It's yeah, the time is up. It's about an hour and a few minutes. So, Principal Darby, if you could hear us, if you could hear me, we'd like to say thank you so much for sharing with us about North Charleston High School, and maybe when you rectify the situation on your end, we could resume the conversation otherwise. But my sister April here, she's smiling. She must have gotten a whole lot out of it, being an educator herself. So April, you want to say something before we get off the air?
Well, I enjoyed, a lot of what he was talking about in the beginning, but I think I enjoyed more of what he I guess, blessed us with in the end. I love hearing the Gullah language and listening to the spoken word. And maybe you need to do a show on that and invite some of our favorites to show us how it's done. I can think of a few people. You can invite Principal Darby back, and I'm not going to name any names, but they know who they are if they're watching. And
yeah, she's watching. I mean, they're watching.
It would be interesting to hear them have a conversation.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but I think that my greatest takeaway from it all, when Principal Darby was talking about the students sleeping under the bridge, we truly have to humble ourselves a lot of times when we are, speaking about people, assuming things, walking our daily walks. And I think sometimes we forget that circumstances exist in people's lives that we will never know anything about, mainly because they don't speak of them. Or we just assume that it could never happen, like he said, in America. So I could tell that he was emotional, even speaking about that part. And I think that's something that will be with him forever. And if it took that kind of enlightenment to spark an action to create a change, then, we should all be a Principal Darby and try to, do what we can to change our societal conditions and, make things better for our brothers and our sisters out there. So I applaud him for what he has attempted to do and what he has done. And
he abruptly got off, April, but I think he's trying to call.
Okay. It's a great thing Morris College took a chance on him.
Yeah, yes, sir. Brother Darby. Okay, he said he didn't touch anything, so.
Okay. Probably his connection. Yeah, it's just his.
Okay. All right. Look, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, he had to get off. He got off. Mm-hmm. I thought it was very sobering. And we tried a lot to very strongly to get him, and it was well worth it, I believe. Okay. That's all right. That's all right.
Brother Edward, that feed is bad.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, he said he'll hang up.
Mm-hmm.
As well. It was communications, man. I mean, I'm glad. I'm glad it's instant. Okay. So Margaret says invite him back, and we'll definitely do that. I'm sure he'll be glad to get back on. And what you just said must have invited Margaret to say it.
Well, she's not the only one. I have a couple of people in mind along with him. Great.
So, yeah, a number of people, and that is an interesting subject. But he's back. But
he's back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We always go over time sometimes.
Oh, okay. I don't know what I had done.
Yeah, but anyway, we're about to close out, and you have any closing remarks that you usually do? I'm sure you made a number of speeches around, probably almost nationally now, at least statewide. Principal Darby. So, do you have any closing statements you like to deliver to our audience?
Well, let me say, sir, I'm very appreciative of you, Mr. McQueen, in terms of your driving wave from the Conway area to come to North Charleston High School to, to talk to someone like me. I'm, as the kids would say, well, let me put it my own way. I'm not all of that, sir. I'm just grassroots. I'm a commoner who just happen to have a sense of history, and I'm very appreciative that this nation, whoever they were, I mean, every city appears to be, every state, sir, as far as Australia, France, Germany, people made contributions, and I just thank you. Nice to have met Ms. Garner. I see that Minister DeAndre Muhammad, one of my former students. It's just remarkable, and just want to thank you, sir, for the mind that you have in terms of helping the community, because again, that's what it's all about, is helping others. And thank you so very much, sir.
Well, again, we thank you also. And there's nothing like that village that never leaves us in spirit, I believe. Okay. So, and to our audience, again, until next week, same time, 7 p.m., we want to ask everybody to be blessed. And we'll be seeing you next week, God willing.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. With another guest. And Principal Darby, we've been asked to invite you back. McIver says to invite you back.
Well, thank you. I'd be honored, sir. I'd be honored.
She wants to talk about the Gullah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, but that's that's a big topic within itself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
From Jacksonville to Jacksonville, that's been recently dedicated.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, sir. Well, thank you all. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, then. Good night. Good night.
Thank you, our audience.
Good night.
God bless. We'll see you next week. Same time.